After a long time, we were finally heading back to visit Elk Island National Park. There was a bit of a fog in the air, which added an element of mystery as we neared the area. By the Bison Loop, we saw a good number of bison grazing in the morning light. But we had some lofty goals for the day and wanted to get started on our hike. There was no time to stop. We also saw some lone bulls along the road.
Holy crud, he's got stuff all over his head.
Yeah, that's probably wise out. Do not hit me.
Do not pet the bison. Wow, you naughty.
We wanted to hike the Tawayak Lake and Shirley Lake trails combined, a total of 19.4 kilometers or 12 miles. Before we set off, I visited the can and took a peek at the bull with the vapors steaming off of his fur. It was a beautiful morning, and light rays shone through the bits of fog. At the trailhead, I admired some lovely lavender thistles with their cheerful pom-poms. The red chairs looked picturesque and inviting. I admired some of the other flowers in the field, including the fireweed. Breathtaking as it was time to get started.
Good morning. And just starting down Tawayak Lake Trail. And there's a lot of mud here. I'm already kind of regretting not bringing my poles with me. But yeah, should be a good day, probably about in the 20s. No rain in the forecast, which is a change from recently. Lately there's been a lot of rain, hence all the mud, which you can see back there. And yeah, we're going to see how far we get. Our grandiose plan is that we're going to do both the Tawayak Lake Trail and continue on around Oster Lake. And I haven't even added up how many kilometers that should be, but yeah, it should be a full day. And we'll see how far we get. As we were driving in, we saw the bison out on the Bison Loop, so looks like the herd is off that way, so the crossing the plain should be fairly easy. Might run into some bachelor herds, we'll see what happens. And yeah, the last time that we were on this trail actually was in the spring. That's how busy we've been. Yeah, I've been unable to do much hiking this summer, so very glad to finally get out and see how Elk Island is doing and all that. I know that recently there's been a number of reminders, I guess, for people not to stop and when they see bears along the roadside. A, they cause traffic jams, and B, it's actually not good for the bears because then they get accustomed to people being around, you know, especially if they feed them or anything untoward. But yeah, not good for them. But yeah, we'll see how the day unfolds, and if we only get Tawayak Trail done, so be it. But yeah, looking forward to it, and we'll see how things go. Talk to you later.
We continued on, enjoying views of dewdrops, delicately constructed spiderwebs, mysterious views through the trees, and bison fur tangled on a branch. A large and fresh wallow overlooks the viewpoint.
Just at the lookout, Tawayak Lake is off that way. Yeah, not much to see. Nobody around here. Not that I can hear, anyways. Or see.
Today we were in for a soundscape of coyote howling. More sounds of the forest could be heard.
Don't get me wrong, there's lots of not so pretty webs.
The jumbled tangle of threads have a beauty of their own, and I am sure they make sense to the weaver, just like an abstract art piece.
Visible, I should say. They're always there.
This is a shamrock orb weaver. Given how many orb webs we had seen that morning, they seem to be quite successful. Of course, they are not the only orb web weavers in Alberta. I wanted to get a side view of the spider in her web. More coyotes could be heard in the distance. Eventually, I left the spider to wait for her prey and rejoined Lyndon down the trail. He was watching another spider. This one was busy building a web. It was fascinating watching the translucent spider delicately attaching the silk lines. We reached the first clearing, and I was surprised at the tall vegetation, like this bright goldenrod. Grasshoppers clicked softly in the grass. There wasn't a lot of signs of bison having been through the area, but these aren't the right plants for them to enjoy. We were grateful for the cut path through the field. While not native, this mustard has some interesting abilities to protect itself from being eaten, including compounds that affect heart rate. The stinging nettle also protects itself quite well, and after getting some itchy rashes last year, this was the reason why I wore long pants today.
They are pretty much as tall as me. Loads of them.
It was also the season for clusters of mushrooms to sprout up. It's always fun finding them in the undergrowth, even if the small one had already been sampled. There were no bison at the junction either. A word of warning, as the next scene contains approximately 15 seconds of poop and bad puns.
Is that like Mama 4 type bear?
It's like a long time, bear.
It's a whole lot of bear.
That's a lot of bear.
Bear it all. So yeah, this was the location where we had seen the bears this spring. And just up the trail we saw a massive bear poop. So I'm guessing it was probably her.
Her, as in the one with the 3 cubs.
She could still be around in the area, who knows. There is loads of nettle here, so definitely a good reason not to go off trail.
She continues to be sighted on the trails, as I've seen postings on social media. Her cubs are still doing well.
But yeah, nobody here right now. Even right here, wow. Loads of nettle.
I I found another spider to watch as they wove their web.
Putting them down with such care.
I was amused at the application of their spinnerets. Raspberries were ripe and would make a tasty treat for a bear.
Always an exciting moment. Coming up over the hill. So far, I see nothing.
We were amused as another hiker obviously did not want to meet people and basically hid in the trees until we left.
Well, Little Tawayak is kind of pretty much just a mud pit right now. Yeah, next to no water in there.
The summer has been quite dry, and the two lakes show how dry it's been.
Even Tawayak isn't really looking that wet.
I looked at some flowers while Lyndon took off his coat.
Just walking across the plains, and there is nothing. Absolutely a lot of green. So it's not that the grasses aren't available. It's like there's a little bit of water out there. Not much. Yeah, I guess there's a thin layer of water. No bison to be seen at all.
And another poop warning. Bison, including their patties, are an integral part of the ecosystem. They provide food for insects,
Little bison patty.
and the nutrients are returned to the soil by fungi. Overhead, a flock of Canada geese flew by. The goose families are now old enough that their goslings can fly and bulk up for the family trip to the south.
Not gonna honk. No honking.
This is an American kestrel, despite the super dark appearance. It looks like they've nested here again this summer. This one has likely caught one of the hundreds of grasshoppers that live on this field.
Yeah, so it is 5.2 to this point. Like I've always guesstimated. 7.5 to the campground. And then if we continue on, it should be another 6 kilometers. Oops. Helps if I actually film at the thing. I was getting bitten. That's why I went off.
So we got a lot of hiking yet.
Starving?
Yeah, about a quarter of the way, I would say.
I was surprised to spot a starling in the field.
See on the tree on the left, there's a couple of holes.
Sorry for the wind noise. I forgot my microphone with the fuzzy cat at home. It's always fun spotting nesting sites in the old trees.
They're serving as nice nesting holes. I'm kind of shocked. This is a bright, shiny boardwalk last year. Now it looks like it's been here for, well, it still looks pretty new, but looks aged already. Another sign. Since says we're 6.2 into the trail.
I took a last look at the plane before we headed back into the forest.
At the intersection. Nothing here either. Nobody. No rogue bison walking up the trail.
Just a rogue linden catching up. And on a hill was another surprise.
Quick. Linden! Listen. The coyote pup.
The coyote pup quickly scrambled up the hill to get away from us. I spotted some oddly pale pink paintbrushes. Some beaked hazelnuts were ripe, a source of food for many animals. We passed by another lookout point.
Amazing cluster there. I'm gonna put my hand down beside it. Oop, if I can zoom out here. About as big as my hand. Some squirrel will come along and be very happy. That great big birch. It is still alive. Put a sign on it too. Adamson Lake out there. Looking very peaceful. Ooh. For those of you who can't smell, it smells a little swampy.
I am guessing this is either a female or immature male bufflehead. One thing is certain, they were pretty determined to get away from us.
Came around that side. Good, you can just see the stagnant portion.
We continued on from the lake, and after a short hike,
Just like that, coming out to it. Up the hill. No bison. So, Shirley Lake Trail 0.7 and then 6.3. So we're gonna continue on. We're still feeling pretty energetic, so
I spotted some unripe puffballs.
so far much the same as the other side. It's more of the knob and kettle formations, so little hills with low-lying depressions which may or may not have water in them. But yeah, nice forest too. That is a massive cluster of mushrooms. To another junction. So now we are 0.2 kilometers to the right. Oh, tired.
I was literally relieved to see the outhouses at the backcountry campsite.
Warnings, bear country. Apparently there's thin ice and blue-green algae. So no swimming, no wading, no filtering. Don't touch it. So yeah, just the usual warnings. So we came out to where we camped that time. Well, 1. Hasn't changed too much. Some people over there just enjoying the day out. Pelicans, or are they swans? Those look like swans. Yeah, they're swans.
Are they swans?
They're swans.
We watched a pair of swans swimming about on Oster Lake. They were a delight to see, as usually they migrate through and nest further north. We noticed a couple of ducks hanging around the swans. They were taking advantage of the swans with their long necks as they bring up vegetation otherwise out of reach. By this point, we had left the campsite and were making our way around Oster Lake. We got a bit closer, but it was still quite a distance from the swans. The closer location allowed us to see the opportunistic ducks a bit better.
Wobble, wobble, wobble.
I was amused by the wobbling with their feet, and I'm guessing they're churning up the water plants.
Oh, so just had a little break and back on the trail. And swans are just over there by the lake. Can't really see them because I don't have the zoom out. But yeah, it was neat to see them feeding and with the ducks taking advantage of the food that they're bringing up. That was kind of cool. So yeah, it's gotten quite warm, but we're gonna keep going. Should be about 6 or 7 kilometers around, and yeah, see what else we see. It's like this one. Never gone on it this way though, but look at all those nodding beggar ticks. I believe is what they are called. Nice name. And some beaver trails. Wow, it's just full of flowers. Beautiful. Wow. It's blogging.
For the last 6 kilometers. And yeah, getting a little tired.
Don't remember this one's lake name. Is this Paul Lake?
Not sure.
I thought Paul was on the other side. So yeah, just observing these chokecherry trees kind of pulled over the trail. You can see quite a number of the berry spots are empty. So somebody's been eating it, most likely, gonna guess a bear. Because they'll probably pull the tree down with their paws and then munch.
Afterwards, I had read postings on social media about other bears being spotted on Shirley Lake Trail.
I'm not sure of the name of this lake either. Might be Shirley. Might be Paul. Might be somebody else. No ducks. No swans. Alright, so we're overlooking Paul Lake. I'm pretty sure the other one was Shirley on the north. And we have 4.8 kilometers to go now.
We continue to trudge along, pausing to admire some fresh mushrooms.
Beaver Pond. And off on the other side, you can see the other marsh. So we were thinking to take the trail through the marsh, but looks like it's closed since by hazards due to construction. So I wonder if they're repairing the boardwalk. It's over there. Yeah, we are kind of heading up towards the end of it here. And you can see the marsh, the road off in the distance there, right over there. So we got maybe about 500 meters, maybe less. And we have not been blocked by any bison, which is a relief. I don't know what would have happened if we had been blocked at this point. Have to try to carve our own path, which we would have done. Or I guess the other option, we could have cut back to that other junction, that one that's kind of blocked off. And then I guess it goes to the road. Yeah.
Straight there.
Yeah, and then just walk back on the road. So yeah, there would have been ways around. Oh, flowers. Colorful.
I was glad there were no bison blocking the trail, especially with the alternate one closed.
I think we got about 100 meters left. And I don't know if they include the pavement in that. Probably not. That'll be full of vehicles. Whew. Tired. So, what's your assessment? Good hike?
Yeah, it was a very good hike.
Yeah.
Good weather, just a little too hot.
Yeah. Starting to get too hot at the end.
But yeah, like I said, you have to be in the right frame of mind before starting. You know, it's a long slog. And even so, I'm getting pretty sore right now.
Yeah.
So it's time to go home.
Yep.
As always, thanks for watching.